what's up? What's up? Club is jumping, man. It must be like Memorial Weekend or something. Little John, such an angry Napoleon dude, but all right, it's 2 in the morning. All right, so you want to hear me talk about Little John and him being the angry little Napoleon? You want to hear about me talk about software? And I've been getting tired of writing code, so I've been taking a break. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't. So I want to help you be a better developer. And maybe being a better developer isn't always about writing code all the time. Maybe it's about being aware, right? So maybe it's about being aware. So what does that mean? What does that mean? All right. Well, there's some things that I think are some pretty healthy habits that I used to once have, and maybe I'll share it with you. I would walk into shops and I'm like, yo, why don't you do this? Yo, why don't you do that? Hey, did you consider? And I'll just start just spitting. And they're like, yo, how do you know all this? And the thing is I take a lot of things that I know for granted because I just assume most people are way more advanced than I am. I just think that I'm reminding them of something that they already know. But honestly, no, that's not true. I actually, in Miami, I am kind of advanced, but maybe that's just Miami. They'll probably trample on me in New York City or Silicon Valley. But so let me tell you what I'm talking about. How can I make you a better developer? Well, if you, I'm having a flashback. Hold up, I'm having a flashback. Oh, I'm having a flashback. Knowledge is power. Commercial. Huh? What is power? What's this? What's this? Hold on. I'm having a flashback. I don't know. I'm just going to pick some arbitrary one. I thought there was only one commercial. What's this? Hold on.
You, 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 you. To the transforming power of knowledge. The Grand Rapids Public Library, connecting people to the transforming power of knowledge.
Well, I didn't really like that commercial. What's this over here? Hold up.
Frankie, have you ever wondered why Budweiser tastes so crisp and clean?
No.
It's because of the unique Beechwood aging process.
Oh, right. Still want to be the spokesman for Budweiser, huh?
Oh, no.
Well, then what's with the Beechwood aging, huh? Why are you telling me this?
I just thought you should know that I know.
Fine.
And I just thought the people at Budweiser should know that I know.
Boy.
And knowledge is power, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
Knowledge is power.
Stop it, Louie.
But you know what? Let me kill that. Let me kill that. You know what though? That little lizard. I don't know if that was an iguana, whatever that thing was. Is absolutely right. Knowledge is power. That was something that I used to see when I would eat my cereal in the 1980s in front of my babysitter called the television set. Maybe not that specific video, but there would be commercials such as the McGruff commercials and all this other stuff about, this is your brain on drugs, smash it, smash some eggs with whatever. And they say, any questions? But another really popular commercial in the 80s was this knowledge is power. And, you know, that always registered with me. I think as a child, we consume a lot. And within the subconscious mind, it never leaves. But I'm not a doctor, so what do I know? But this is what I do know. How can I make you a better developer? Or recognizing that knowledge is power, right? And so, if knowledge is power, well, elaborate. Elaborate. All right, well, I'll show you, okay? So, I'm having a flashback again. Hold up. Oh, YouTube. You are like, man, forget Google, man. YouTube is like my search engine. Ugh. All right, come here. I'm having a flashback. And why are you taking so long to load? Jay-Z? I'll show you how to do this, son. No, I probably can't find the actual lyrics to the song, but this is the instrumental.
You are watching a master at work.
And that is not what I was looking for. That's not the instrumental. I'll show you how to do this song. All right, so that flopped. But anyway, let me tell you something. So how do you become aware? Well, you by default put information in front of you. Now, how can I say that a different way? How can I make you a better developer? All right. John Simon has told me to give information to him. Like, all right, John Simon, I'm trying really hard, right? But I'm not used to recording myself on a video and talking to myself, right? And then I feel like I have to be entertaining at the same way. And it's kind of awkward, man. You try to do it. But, all right, so by default, I would recommend by default, you should know what's going on. All right, say that one more time. By default, Scott says that you should know what's going on. Okay, let me elaborate. All right, so if you're anything like me, you're attached to your laptop when you first wake up. Okay, it doesn't have to be your laptop though. It could also be your cell phone. All right. Which almost everybody's attached to their cell phone. All right, well, so what? What does that mean? All right, well, let me tell you, okay? Set your homepage to any web page that is continuously, or should I say consistently, updated with information that is relevant for you to be up to date as a professional software developer. So, for example, I stopped doing this, but I think I'm going to start doing it again, where I used to, especially at work, when I would like walk into an office and sit down at a cubicle, my default page would just be MSDN. I would set that as my default page. I don't know how to do that in here, but I'm sure in tools options somehow somewhere you can set a website as your default page whenever you launch your browser. And so for me, I would set msdn.com as the first page to be displayed whenever I would launch my browser. Okay? And what that would do is, because Microsoft feeds me Indirectly, I use their tools. I make my living off of Visual Studio and other parts of the Microsoft ecosystem, SQL Server, be, be, because they feed me. I want to know exactly what's going on, right? And so there's some pretty insightful things on their website, right? They have magazine, which I don't look at. They have forums, which I don't look at. But what I do check out is their blogs, and I check out Channel 9. All right, and I look at their blogs, and bam, you just get like an incredible amount of information, right? So if you like, if you're within the Microsoft stack, you could either set it to msdn.com or you could set it to their blogging page, right, of the website. Whatever you want to do, right? The whole thing is knowledge is power, and you know, my father, maybe I got this habit from him, or maybe this is just normal. Is my father he would come home, let me go back to me, he would go back to me. My father would wake up in the morning to CNN News. He would just wake up every morning before he would go to work, and he would just watch CNN headline news. And that's how my father would stay up to date. Of course, my father, he was an electrician. He didn't really care, or I don't think there was anything really relevant for his job, anything really relevant for the city of Cleveland or anything like that he should be aware of, because this is CNN headline news. But my father was also a preacher, and he often used current events as, I don't know, as topics to discuss. And he would often leverage that as illustrations when he would give talks. But anyway, you don't care about me talking about my father. You care about me talking about staying up to date. So let me return back to the subject. So what does that mean? All right. Well, again, just like my father would go to CNN, or he would watch CNN headline news every single morning. Maybe you as a developer should go to some medium of information every single morning you wake up, or every single time you walk in to your cubicle or to your desk, and you launch your browser, and just by default, the information is laid out for you. Oh shoot, Visual Studio has a new update. Actually, I have an install going on right now. Hold up. No, why did this fail? Setup operation failed. Oh, I was installing Visual. What the freak? Hold up. I need the part. Oh, error. Okay. Installer, uninstall product, reported error, package failure, exception, F sharp. God damn it. Anyway, all right, let's go back to me. I'm installing Visual Studio Enterprise Preview Update 5, and it doesn't like F sharp. But you didn't come here for me to talk about F sharp failing and uninstall as I try to get Preview 5 installed, because I'm uninstalling Preview 4. That's a requirement. Let me go back. All right, so yeah. So MSDN, if you're a Microsoft developer, I highly recommend that you set their website as your default page. But you don't have to do it MSDN. You can set your default page to Stack Overflow. Stack Overflow. And you can Stack Overflow, you can configure your settings to view pertinent information. that you care about. And if you love helping people and you love answering questions, then you can start your morning by answering a couple questions on Stack Overflow. I used to try to do this with WPF. I used to like every morning I would either in my bed or when I would eventually walk into work, launch Stack Overflow, and as I'm eating my bagel and drinking my Dr. Pepper, I would try to answer a couple questions. And I would also learn about, some things that I never considered within a framework by just looking at other people's questions. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know you could do that. So Stack Overflow is another website where you can consider setting it as your default page, right? So I set MSDN, I set Stack Overflow as your default website when you launch your browser. And this is how you can stay up to date. This is how by default you can know what's going on, right, within this developer community. This is how you can stay ahead of your competition. Well, what else, Scott? What else? How can I be a better developer? Knowledge is power. What else can you tell me? Well, all right. Well, let me tell you. Let me show you how to do this. Twitter. I ain't like Twitter for the longest time. I thought Twitter was a medium for attention seekers, a medium for people that were just infatuated with telling the world what they were having for breakfast and celebrity gossip. That's what I thought Twitter was about. Twitter is about that. But you know what? Twitter is also about how you harness it, how you leverage it. A tool is only as good as what you use it for. Okay, and Twitter is a tool, and because it's a tool, you can basically register information that you care about. You can subscribe to interesting people, all right, or companies or ideas, whatever. I'm not that deep into Twitter to understand its internals, but if there's some book authors that you really respect, if there's some conference speakers that you really respect, I'm gonna put it out there, man. I guess I'm a groupie. Scott Blashin, which I don't really see on Twitter that much. Mark Seaman, who is very active on Twitter. Those are the F Sharp people, and Scott, keep butchering his last. No, not Scott. Tomas, his last name starts with a P. I keep butchering his last name. Like, those are some people that they keep me up to date on the F Sharp programming language that I really know nothing about. I know a little bit about it, but I consume information via Twitter based on the people that I follow. And for me, Twitter is like, it's kind of like CNN headline news, except with it shows some events that are coming up that I might be interested in. It also shows what people that I admire are talking about. And if I admire them, if I respect them, then I think I can learn from some of the conversations that they're having with each other. I'm a mosquito on the wall. Or mosquito on the wall. Zika. I'm a fly on the wall, right? I need to abstract it out a little bit. I'm a fly on the wall, and I get to listen in. I get to eavesdrop on these conversations that these thought leaders are having with each other. And half of their conversations, I actually know what they're talking about, right? Because I've been listening for a while. I've been eavesdropping on them for a while. So Twitter is another source that you don't have to post anything. You could just eavesdrop and consume, what they're talking about. So I talked about setting your homepage to MSDN or Stack Overflow, I talk about leveraging Twitter. All right, Scott, how else can I make them a better developer? How can I give what I know to these people that are listening? All 5 of them. All right, well, is there anything else I want to share with you? What do I do? What do I do that I think makes me ahead of the herd? I think I can't think of it right now. When I terminate this recording, then I'll probably think of it. But those are the 2 major things that I wanted to basically share with you. This is important for everybody, man. Whether you're just now getting your feet wet in this software development industry, or if you're a veteran. I think veterans they get comfortable and they think that including myself, they think that everything that they need to know, they already know it. And that's when you get in trouble. And that's when you start getting shown up by people that have more hunger than you, because you're no longer hungry. You're comfortable. You've been fed for so long, you're fat and sloppy. And that's how people come up, right? Because they come up and they outperform because knowledge is power. And they're able to take a problem and they're able to, their eyes roll to the back of their head. They have a flashback of something they've seen on Twitter, a flashback of something they've seen on Stack Overflow, a flashback of something they've seen on MSDN. And they're able to, because they have that flashback, they don't have to have the details. They could just go back in time, look at, consume. Okay, let me go ahead and do this. And bam, they get it done because they're wired to the outside world. And that's probably something else I probably should discuss. I hate architects. Is when, yeah, that's a major advantage of what I'm talking about, is that when you are hardwired to other channels of this industry, right? Which remind me to, within this video, to also talk about podcasts. When you are wired in to MSDN, when you are wired in to Stack Overflow, when you are wired into Twitter, you are pulling information from all these different channels that more than likely have nothing to do with the work that you are currently working on, right? When at your office, all right. But the thing is you're pulling in all these different perspectives. You're learning about all these different problems that people are solving. That I think within the subconscious mind, there's a deposit that's made. And I sincerely believe, right, because I think I'm living proof, that you become more advanced than your counterparts because you are able to basically think within a grander scale, right? You no longer think within the domain of the problem that you have been trying to solve specifically at work. You're no longer confined to, make that level, to just your coworkers and what they know, right? No. What happens is when you are actually plugged in, when you are actually connected to the industry, and that's probably something I want to emphasize, is when you are wired into the industry and the channels of the industry, instead of only being wired to your 9-to-5 job, and the people at your 9-to-5 job, you go from this to an entire solar system, right? And that solar system is just your stack. That solar system is just Microsoft technologies, right? Now, I would recommend that you open up, right? And instead of just being wired to your office, instead of being wired to your solar system, bring it back over here. I would recommend solar system is good, right? The stack that you participate in is good. You're a .NET developer? Well, you wired into MSDN, you're wired into Stack Overflow based on some specific tags. That's cool, right? Because that means deaf. Deaf. I can't say the word. But you can up your game a little bit because I think the more you know, even if it's outside your domain and it's outside of your ecosystem, like I think the more you can pull from, right? So let's go from your office, right, in which the only thing you really know about is what your company has been working on. That's pretty sad, right? That's what a lot of Fortune 500 companies are like. You know, their lead developers, their architects, they only know what their company has been doing. That's pretty pathetic, right? Yes, yes. I have an issue with monolithic corporate 500 companies, right? Because we just see things differently. So you go from an office, you go to your solar system, and you see like, oh, look at all this going on in my ecosystem. Oh man, I don't know anything about what's a random technology I could talk about. I don't know anything about SQL Server. Yo, what's a message bus? What does orchestration mean? I don't know anything about what else can I talk about? I still don't know anything about Docker. I don't really care about Docker, but you know what? Well, let me just figure out what Docker actually does. Like, what is it? What problem is it trying to solve? Right? That's your solar system, right? I understand Docker is probably Linux based, but Microsoft has been working on this implementation. That's all I know. And then, all right, so that's at the solar system level. After the solar system level, man, let's go straight galaxy. You enlarge it. Hold on, let me pull this back. You enlarge to the galaxy like this, right? Oh, hold up. There we go. Your galaxy is the Java stack, right? Ruby, right? Java stack, Ruby, Haskell, whatever that is, right? And you start plugging in to, this is how I'm going to bring in podcasts. You start plugging into ecosystems that you don't work in, right? But you know what? There's thought leaders, there's technologists that are working in other areas that you don't work in. They work in security, right? They work in Ruby. They work in some JVM programming language, right? They work in Elm. They work in Haskell. And you know what? Like, there's a lot that we can learn from these people that are solving either different problems or the same problem using different technologies that may also be a completely different way of providing a solution, right? We talk about object-oriented programming and how, like, by default, 99% of the world believes that to provide a solution programmatically, it's object-oriented. Like, they can't think of anything else, right? And so when you plug yourself in to this galaxy of ecosystems, right? Subscribe to Elixir Fountain, right? I think that's the name of it. Elix. I don't know how to spell Elixir. Is it IR? I don't know how to spell Elixir, man. Elixir Fountain. Fountain? Yeah? Elixir Fountain? Yeah? Yeah. Yeah, subscribe to Elixir Fountain, right? Like, this has nothing to do with .NET, I don't think, right? Because I'm a .NET developer. But you know what? I listen to this podcast. Yeah? I love this intro. Yeah? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Are you looking for a consultancy to help build your next Elixir project? Stockyard might be just what you need. They specialize like successfully restarting themselves. It's a pretty awesome feeling.
Yeah, well, especially after a lot of time in other languages that don't have anything like that capability.
Oh, what? See, like, yo, this Johnny Wynn, man, he's in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm in Miami, but yo, I ain't gonna lie. About 20% of what they talk about, I have no clue what they're talking about. But that doesn't mean that I won't learn over time. I'm a fly on the wall. I just eavesdrop. I listen in to grown folks talking about something that I don't really understand yet as a child. But you know what? It's okay, because if I stay on that wall and I do a little bit of investigation, I look up some keywords that I heard them say, it's going to start trickling in. And my game is going to level up. It's going to level up. It's going to level up. Until one of these days, I'll be a guest on that show. All right. If I really want to be a guest on that show, I could be a guest on that show. It'll probably take me about maybe 16 months, but I could be a guest on that show. But you don't want to hear me talk about being a guest on Elixir Fountain. But what I wanted to share with you is, be connected. Don't constrain yourself to an office and to the lifers of the software shop that you work at, because more likely they're lifers and they only know what they've been doing, and they only know they're probably the most popular phrase or quote that they say is, you ready for this? Double quotes. This is how we do things, right? Which is a retarded phrase, because it means that you are not interested in alternative ways of being more effective. You only know what you've been doing. So Elixir Fountain is dope, right? Again, I talked about setting your default browser to something that is information specific, that will feed you information about the domain that you work in potentially. I mentioned Twitter, in which you subscribe to some interesting people and you can just eavesdrop on their conversations. I mentioned, going from your office to your solar system to your galaxy, and basically subscribing or just listening to podcasts that are completely outside of your stack, right? So Elixir Fountain is one. I like software engineering radio, and this is also cool. Now, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Brian Brazil on Prometheus Monitoring. I'm not gonna lie, software engineering radio is more I'm gonna listen to this. Yeah, I'm gonna listen to that. That's what I'm talking about. What I was gonna say, software engineering radio is more. I feel like it has an academic tone to it. Let me go back to me. I feel like software engineering radio podcast has more of an academic tone to it. I'm not knocking it. It's just, it is not this rock star developer type of conversation that Elixir Fountain might have, or .NET Rocks might have, which is another really good podcast show for .NET developers. I was on there once, right? I asked to be on there again, and they ignored my request. But yeah, so Software Engineering Radio is another good podcast. I'm going to listen to this F Sharp, dude. Yeah. I said .NET Rocks. Hold up. .NET Rocks. Oh, that's .NET Miami. That's a user group that I need to be more active in. I'll give a presentation there. It didn't go well. .NET Rocks.com. Go on, .NET Rocks. And this is .NET Rocks is two hosts. And for some reason, I am Richard and Carl. Almost forgot their names. This show has been going on I swear since like at least 2009, maybe 2007. And if you want to check out the episode that I did with them, which was a popular episode, right? I am episode 1214, Testing and Craftsmanship with Scott Nimrod, and I recorded that last year in November. So .NET Rocks is another good podcast. What else? Well, I'm probably talking to a whole bunch of developers. You know what? But I think let's go back to me. I'm talking to a whole bunch of developers, but you know what? I think the best developers are well-rounded developers. The best developers, they don't just build software. They test their software. They prove that their code works, and they're up to date on the testing. I don't know, how do I say this? They stay up to date with the testing, software testing industry as well. And so Test Talks is a good podcast show. Test Talks. Yeah. I don't know what the real web address is, but Joe Colantonio. I don't know how to say his name. But he has this automation guild coming up, I'll tell you that. And I actually am one of the speakers on his automation guild that's coming up in January. I think it's mid-January. And this is an awesome software testing podcast show. I think it's really specific to test automation. And he has some guests, right? You know what? I was on his show too. Where's Scott Nimrod at? Scott Nimrod. Oh, there we go. Yeah. And I'll talk about software craftsmanship and revenge of the SDET. And, I wonder if there's any more comments down here. Hold up. Is it playing?
So again, for every SDET or QA that has some technical chops, this is how you can get back at them. Right? Just run some test mutation and expose them.
Yeah.
Welcome to the test.
So, I'm gonna send a tweet, man. Some Scott dog. All right, so Test Talks is another good podcast show. All right, let me go back to me. So, I want to help you be better, man. I want new developers. I want you to get to $100,000 a year ASAP, right? And this is one of probably several things that you need to do to isolate yourself from the herd, or maybe a better term would be to be an outlier of the herd, and then demonstrate how much you know, right? At the beginning of this video, I said knowledge is power, and I showed some Budweiser iguanas or lizards, whatever they are, whatever that Jurassic Park thing is. Know your industry, man. And know related industries. Know the satellites that are revolving around you, right? If your domain is software engineering, if your domain is Xamarin, well, know about WPF, know about test automation, know about freaking Ruby and Elixir. Like just be aware, and that's something that I just want to just force inside of you. It's just there's so much to know, right? But you know what? You don't understand how powerful being a fly on the wall is. You don't have to have any type of significance to be a fly on the wall. And the side effect of being on that wall and just listening, is that in 6 months, in 12 months, as it keeps accumulating, as you keep living, in 60 months, which I think is 5 years, you know a lot compared to your counterparts. And you're able to have discussions with people and that maybe work in completely different domains, right? Or you might have discussions with your counterparts, with your peers, and you just all of a sudden you just become a wealth of information, right? And people start going to you. All of a sudden you become the alpha of the shop, right? Because we know the software shops are like pretty much males, right? Of course, of a specific demographic as well. But all of a sudden, like you have consumed so much from this universe, from this galaxy, right? That all of a sudden you don't realize it, but people start going to you for information. People start caring about what you think about some options, you know, that they're considering. They care about what you think about this roadmap. They care about what you think about using, a specific technology as as a repository, right? Do we do NoSQL? Do we do SQL? What are the advantages of WCF versus, Web API? We're thinking about doing a native application because of this, that, and the other. What do you think? Right? All of a sudden, like, people care what you think. You went from being that fly on the wall, just zzz, 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 to being a goddamn silverback gorilla that people report to, and people actually want to know what direction you advocate, right? And that is called, I don't know if it's called metamorphism. Oh, what is a fly? What is a maggot that turns into a fly? Or a caterpillar that turns into a butterfly? What is that called? Metamorphosis? Whatever it's called. That's exactly what happens when you become a fly on the wall. That's going to be the title that I use. I like that title. All right, so set your default page to a news feed, whether it's MSDN or Stack Overflow. Get hip to Twitter. Get hip to Twitter, okay? Listen to podcasts, even when they have nothing to do with what you're doing. Not just software, but software testing as well, okay? What else? I think I've said enough, man. This has gone on for a while, and I told you about Test Talks. I told you about .NET Rocks. I told you about Elixir Fountain. There's Developer on Fire. Oh, I'm gonna promote myself on here. Developer on Fire, and John Skeet. Developer on Fire is, I would say, what do I know, right? But Developer on Fire is a podcast that is on fire. It's by Dave Rell, and he is absolutely beasting. And I'm gonna promote myself on here too. Oh, Scott Nimrod, homie. Where's Scott Nimrod? Oh yeah, Scott Nimrod, homie. Craftsman or prima donna. And I did a really good. Well, I don't know. I think I did a really good job on this show. And then I ended up being a host on this show. And I actually, for episode 100, I actually interviewed Dave Rell. And I was not happy with my performance as an interviewer. Like, it's one thing to talk about yourself. It's another thing to try to talk about and support and listen somebody else. And I sucked at that, right? And I might have another episode coming up. It might be the next episode on Developer on Fire. Today's the October? Yeah, today's October 6th, and it's 10 minutes to 3 in the morning. And I'm not proud of my last episode on his show either, because I started whining like a little girl. All right, so that's it, man. Is there anything else I can share with you? Developer on Fire, Test Talks, .NET Rocks, Elixir Fountain, Software Engineering Radio. Those are some influential podcasts that I listen to. Yeah, I think that's all I want to say. And let's go back to me. Oh, Scott, this is a good show. Like, I think you're making a difference. Thanks. All right, so that's it. So I'm Scott Nimrod. I'm here in Miami. There's a hurricane that's taking its time to get here. That's driving me crazy, and I have no clue what's going to happen to me. And I'm distracting myself by doing this video, so that's what I do, out of sight, out of mind. Whenever I face stressful events, I just work. So I'm Scott Nimrod, Cleveland, Ohio, currently living in Miami Beach, Florida. I'm available for hire. Give me a contract. All right. I do test automation. I do Xamarin mobile development. I do WPF desktop development. I consider myself an expert on test-driven development. And I'm a habitual complainer about this industry. Why? Well, maybe because people that complain actually care. And that's it. I want to help you, man. If you're a new developer, I want to get you to $100,000 as soon as possible, and then I want to get you $150,000 like 12 months later, right? And if you're a veteran developer, I want to inspire you to better yourself, and maybe that's my purpose in 2016 going into 2017. Because I think I'm fed up with working on teams, and I just want to help people that want to be helped. And maybe that's my purpose, is I want to help people that want to be helped. And that's how I'm leaving this show. That's how I'm leaving this episode. I want to help people that want to be helped. Unleashing everything to give it to you. So that's it. I'm Scott Nimrod. Adios. Te veo a ratito. I'm out. Yeah. Is there any video I can play after this? Oh, man. We're going to go out in silence. That's it. Peace.